things I find interesting about papers is that often it's really clear what the paper should be if you know how to write an academic paper. So I'm going to help you today write an academic paper. It may not be perfect, but it'll be one where you'll cover all the things you need to cover. And not only will you cover all the things you need to cover, but the instructor will be able to grade it a lot easier. And this is really kind of important because the easier it is for the instructor to grade it and the more that you've hit all the things you need to be graded on, then you're going to be in pretty good shape. So most papers are going to come with something like this. There's basically an idea of what you need to write about, right? So these are just some generic research paper instructions that I pulled in off the internet. Every college has got something like this, right? What are you supposed to give the person in the instruction a bit, right? So one of the things that they want you to do is they're looking for, you're required to attach a first page, an abstract. So they want an abstract of the articles at the end of your paper, right? So they want that. So they want abstracts of your paper, of your articles, all right, that you used. Then they want a rough draft of the paper. That's cool. Final papers due 2 weeks. All right, so that's cool. This is what they want, right? So research paper instructions. This is where you copy things off, and this is where you go about and you do it. Things to-do list, right? Try to find 3 articles and other basic information. Find 3 empirical articles, right? He prefers that, or the instructor prefers a psych info database. Right, telling you where to go to find the papers that you need to do. Then in your writing of your paper, choose your background information, what's interesting to you, summarize those articles that you pulled, the 3 articles, and then analyze the topic, critically analyze the topic, and then synthesize the findings, right? And then propose any future directions of research. And this can be specific or just, hey, this sounds really, really cool, right? The requirements, and then you go and you do the things that are in the requirements. 3 empirical papers, paper must be written in APA format, section headers, no page requirement, but is looking for 10 pages double spaced and 12-point font. All right, so there you go. That's what they're looking for. That's great. Attach the first pages of your 3 empirical papers back to your paper so I can read the abstracts. That's great. Again, you would just copy and paste those nowadays. This is obviously back when you could actually do a thing. And he breaks it down. How many points you get? Content, 40 points, depth of thought, 30 points, clarity, 20 points, API style, and so on, right? And every paper's got something like that, right? And you can pull up, even Cornell College here has got a thing. There's your integration of knowledge, an expert, and this is where you're aiming for, right? When you get into writing your paper, you want to make sure you're aiming right for this because this is your perfect grade, right? So if you've covered all the sections that are here in that content, full explanation of the content, they'll go, the author fully understands, applied concepts, learned the course, and done all the things. This is how your instructor is going to grade you. And that's the important part. So it's kind of a combination of pulling all this data from the to-do list, right? So you pull all that, and this is what they're looking for, right? And then you go and pull all your stuff. And I kind of stop my little select a little bit. But we're just going to make this like really easy on me, right? I am going to actually do a thing. I'm going to copy it into Word, right? And the main reason why I'm going to copy it into Word is because now I have their checklist, right? I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I can highlight those things that are important, right? The 3 studies. Right, so I highlight 3 studies, and now I start picking things out. What were the background, methods, results? What was in those, right? And again, as we kind of go through this, true primary ways, you will always use APA formatting, right? Reference, 10 pages, right? And again, this is how you start working your paper, and this is how you start making sure you're actually turning in the exact kind of paper that your instructor wants, and makes it easy to grade because they're going to follow this, right? And then they're going to follow this on what your topic focus were and how it all worked together. So when you're actually looking at something, right, creating a rubric for writing an assignment, all right, we're going to use this main idea. Clearly presents the main idea, supported, main idea, supported, main idea, no main idea, right? And that's how they kind of show how you're going to grade. And this allows an instructor to grade everything fair enough, right? So there's an expectation here that everybody is good to go with what that paper grading should look like. And then we can kind of go to here, and we can pull up any of these, right? Paper reference, paper syllabus, however it's called, right? And some of the paper syllabuses and other things are all part of the process of how it works. You can actually go through here, right? So here, this week you complete phase 1 of this, right? So I would copy all of this off, right? And we're just going to copy this, right? Because that's what I have to write about. And then I'm going to go to my Word document, and we're going to go ahead and Control A, Control X, Control V, right? Whoops. Control A, Control X, Control C, right? Just so you know, Control V. All right, now I got what I got, right? I know what I'm doing. I have to write a problem statement. That's my first section. So the problem is, right? What am I going to be delivering? What do I need to deliver to the project and for the instructor? Right, module 1, right? We need to include all the following, right? So we're going to take a look at motherboards, power supplies, all the things, right? Type of operating system, right? Windows, Apple, Linux, 32-bit, 64-bit, and 3 to 4 pages in length. Okay, that's an easy paper, right? But this is what you do, and you start working it out, right? Include the following. If you have this list here, you will never forget all the things that you're supposed to include in there. If you're working at it from a separate piece of paper, right, then you might not know all the things, but your instructor is going to be going, okay, I have a problem statement. I know what my project deliverables are. They covered the motherboard, the power supply, processor, and memory. They covered all the things, right? And it's the same thing for the research paper, right? Find 3 empirical articles, find all the things that you would do here, pick out all the things. And again, the cool part is that you never miss anything by doing it this way. And this turns into almost the perfect academic paper that you've got. Now, the other thing, too, that I find really, really, really handy, and this is one of the things that you want to do, is we're going to go ahead and save as. And one of the things I like to do is reversion this, right? So when you go through and you actually are taking a look at how the paper works, right? I want to do paper 1, week 1, version 1, and then save it off, right? So that I know what paper, what week I'm in, and how many times I've revised this paper, right? Because I may actually have more than one version, and sometimes it's good to go back or good to keep track of what you got, but then keep track of it this way. Keep track of your class. You can even put your class in here. So whatever your class name is, paper 1, week 1, version 1. Right? And it just helps you stay organized with your papers. Because the other thing that you can do too, and I've seen this done a lot, is people upload last week's paper or this week's paper or some other paper for some other class because they're not versioning or they're not covering or titling it correctly. But that's essentially how you write the perfect paper, right? Find their paper syllabus, find what they're looking for, find what's inside of the paper itself, copy that off, put it in a Word document, then write your paper around it, right? Make sure you've got all the things. Right? Make sure you did it in the right format, and then boom, there's your paper, you're done. And it just makes things a lot easier when you're kind of going through and writing a paper. But that's how you write a perfect academic paper that covers everything your instructor needs, and in a format and in a checkbook mark, the way your instructor is exactly going to grade it, that ties in nicely to that exact rubric, right, that they've got on how they're grading it. So if you've got well planned, well thought out, right? Well, you're already well planned, well thought out right here, right? You've got this. All paragraphs, clear ideas. If you stick to this, you've got clear ideas, content, again, as long as you don't miss anything, you're good to go. So that's how you write the perfect paper, right? And it's just simple, just copy paste. Use that as your template, whatever the paper design is, and then follow it along and go through, do your paper, have some fun with it, and you've got it. You've hit all the marks. No questions, no problems. All right, so if you've got any questions, do drop them in the commentary below. I would love to hear what you've got to say on this one. But again, it's just kind of neat as you kind of work through this because every college does it this way. Every single college. If your college isn't doing it this way, ask them for them to do it this way because I would be really shocked if they weren't doing it this way. Right? Definitely. Give me a shout. Glad to help out. Thanks.